ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਧੰਨ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਓਟ ਆਸਰਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖ ਚੈਨਲ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਸਿੰਖ ਔਰ ਸਵਿਮ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਹਰ ਹਫਤੇ ਲਿਆਇਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਚਾਰਾ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਵਿਊਅਰਸ ਹੁੰਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
Welcome to Sink or Swim. This has been brought to you live from the Sikh Channel studios. Looking at life in general. Last week we were discussing Himmat Kaur, 17-year-old who took Amrit at the age of 7. Her parents, Amritari, do a lot of seva in the local Gurdwara. But she comes home one day and she begins to question her mother and father that I would like to celebrate my birthday, my 18th birthday, in a club with my friends. The mother and father, who are Amritari and they do a lot of seva, they said, no, you can't. But she can't understand why. Mom, Dad, we all go to the wedding, party, reception. And there, we all dance, and you don't mind us dancing. I'm only going for a little dance and celebrating my 18th birthday. Please don't deny me. These are problems currently that happen with our youth. In this discussion that we started last week, we're going to carry on. And with me on the panel, we have Bibi Sharanjit Kaur. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa.
Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
And we also have Bhai Buta Singh.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Now, what we saw last week was that Himmat's parents, they do a lot of seva in the Gurdwara. They're not any different to any other Sikh parents. I mean, they've taken Amrit. And there's still problems happening. Their daughter's coming back and saying, I want to go to a nightclub with my friends and have a little dance. I mean, looking at this, parents doing a lot of seva. There's a saying, Badda chatti jopre na gun na upkar. That sometimes we do things out of routine. We're expected to do some seva. And we do it. Why are there still problems in Himmat's family? Why is she coming back asking the same old questions? That I want to go to a nightclub. Parents are saying, but Dad, this is totally out of order. We never imagined you want to go in the night. Because maybe there's a label attached. But what's happening? Where's the seva going that they're doing?
I was listening to some katha this morning by Mahapurk, and before I say anything, just ask for forgiveness first, just in case I make any mistakes. And exactly what you're saying with this case, but they're going to the Gurdwara, they're doing so much seva and stuff. And during his katha, this Mahapurk said that a lot of people are listening to Kirtan. What he meant by that was they're listening to the tunes. And he said, everyone's listening. मैं पाठ सुन के आया आज मैं आज कीर्तन सुनिया. Said, but what part of the kirtan or what part of the part or what part of the seva did they connect to? And he said, whenever we listen to something, we must listen to it as in that we've listened to Guru's upadesh through the kirtan. And he goes, but we think that, oh, मैं कीर्तन सुन लिया आज मैं कीर्तन सुन लिया, tick the box. But he says, but upadesh nahi suniya. Upadesh means the teaching. Yeah. He says, every time somebody speaks, whether it's aragi through the kirtan, or whether it's ourselves during our nitnem, or whether it's some agathavachik on stage, and sometimes we'll come off stage, or somebody will come off stage once there's a story. Somebody did kirtan, really nice kirtan, and when the kirtaniya came off stage, and somebody went and approached them kirtan and said, that was great. Oh, that kirtan was so good. You know, it's amazing the job that you're doing. And the kirtaniya goes, oh, it's so good to hear that. Kirtaniya said, you must be ready for Amrit. Yeah. And they said, oh, no, what you on about? No, he said, we're only talking about your kirtan. He goes, no, well, the kirtan is guiding you towards taking steps towards your guru. So basically, coming back, what's going wrong is people aren't connecting to that whatever's being said is upadesh, that is a teaching. Yeah. And they just think we're kirtan only, but they've not heard that it's a teaching.
I mean, I've heard it so many times. Some people come back, even in the Gurda, say, oh, that tune, I can remember that. It was from that film. It was from that Nagini film. That music of Vaiguru Vaiguru tune was from that film Nagini. I'm thinking, I didn't know that, but obviously you did. And obviously the people that are playing the tune, what was in their mind, what message has come across? And there, you know, there's another question here, where can the parents point the finger at Himmat and say, no, तू किद्दां सोच सकदी है अभी पार्टी नू जाना रात नू नाइट क्लब जाना तू किद्दां सोच सकदी है? Can they really point a finger at her? Because दद्दा दोस्त ना दीजिए. Don't give anyone else the blame. The blame might lay yourself. Because have you heard, like you say, have you heard the updesh that the Guru's giving? Okay. And the Guru's updesh is very clear. The Guru's updesh is kende kache, sunde kache, kachi aakh wakhani. That pehla asi parents must look inside themselves now and say, is it this you to blame, Himmat, or is it us to blame? Are we doing what we're meant to do? Or is it our fault? We're going to the parties? Because that's exactly what Himmat said. But hold on, Mom, Dad, we go to the parties after the wedding. We have a dance there. We have, you know, there's meat and alcohol there. And we're not going to drink it. We're not going to eat it. But we all have fun there. What's the problem, me going elsewhere with my friends? So, can you see, are we doing this? Or are we just doing this? And in this case, as parents, maybe that's another lesson to learn.
Yeah. Before I'll give Benji a chance, sorry. Well, to what you've just said, it's just so, what I wanted to bring a point forward is because it's a real life situation. So it's always good to speak about real life situations, even though with Guru's grace, we'll try and back things up with Gurbani and stuff, but a lot of viewers, they all like to hear something that's going on today.
Okay.
So, a family again, you know how you're talking about, is it Himmat's fault? Okay, a family, Amritdhari family, this is something we heard of recently. They've gone to a wedding party, so obviously it must have been decorated really, really well and stuff. It was the way it was situated, marquee. There was alcohol there was meat there and everything. After seeing this, the daughter, which is also Amritdhari, so very similar to like Himmat's setup of family, very similar setup. After this, the daughter asked her family very innocently, saying, can I celebrate my birthday like this, in this type of setup?
Okay.
In a hall, with the music, because obviously, you know, with the decorations, and God knows how much it cost, with obviously the outfits to go with it. And they said, are you crazy? Says, no way. And they said, we'll do a Khanpat at the Godra.
So first they exposed her to that setting, and then they said...
It's self-explanatory. We don't even, you know...
Because for that poor girl, she might be thinking that, hold on, jina da anand karj ho reha, kinni sobha mildi hai na. Wow, you know, even I'm impressed. Look at all this chittar bichittar, look at all these lights, look at all this fun thing. And Mom, Dad, I want the same thing. And Mom and Dad say, no, well, why are we exposing them to that sort of environment in the first place? So, this is slide number 3. You know, you all go to the party after the Sikh wedding. Why can't I go with my friends? Mom, Dad, I mean, this is the predicament we're in. Because if we are all going, then are we to blame? You know, are we the cause of this happening? Now,
and say if we go, I apologise if this is a bit hard on the ears. If we go to the parties after the Godara, there's 2 ways that we can look at it. One is where we aren't seeing the Guru as the truth. The second is that we're making a joke of the Guru as well.
Okay.
If we saw the Guru as the truth, Maharaj, I can't remember the Bani took, but Maharaj is saying everything you see with these 5 senses, or you know these 9,
Nodware, with your no
all of that is all of it's fake. So even though you're eating, it's fake. It isn't real. What you're seeing isn't real. I mean, look, I got glasses on, and what I'm seeing, that's what you know. I can see that. My eyes are making me see this. That alone shows me that I'm trying to see something that isn't really there.
So the updesh that Bhai Buta Singh was talking about, that updesh has not gone in for me to say that, hold on, all this is false. And how can I tell my children when I'm showing them that, look at this is brilliant. Look at this is the way it should be. if the gyan went in me as a parent, then I'd say, hold on, this is all false. And if I expose this to my children, then they will also believe it's real.
It's
Because I believe it's real.
It's difficult for us to accept that our math is wrong. You know, if we accept that I've got faults and I accept that. If we accept that, you know, okay, maybe that wasn't right, but now we have to accept it and see that it's wrong and we have to act on it. But we are too proud to do that. We will never turn around and say, you know what I was doing and it was wrong. And if it hurts, it's because we're not willing to change. It doesn't mean it's wrong.
A verse that reminds me of this is Tan Poom Ka Jo Kare Guman. This comes in Sukhmani Sahib. Tan Poom Ka Jo Kare Guman. If we have pride in the things which are materialistic, like Tan, our wealth, Poom, our possessions, Ka Jo Kare Guman, and we have pride of something which is not real and false, and it's not going to go with us. So, Murak, Anda, Agyan. So the Guru is saying we're actually blind, although I can see, but I can't see the truth. I'm blind to the truth.
And I say as well, when you go to the wedding hall parties, if you look at it, you know, there's a lot of lighting there. That's you know, fulfilling the eyes' desires. You know, there's a lot of desires. There's a lot of nice clothes, not nice hairdos. You know, not nice. You know, there's loads of nice things to look at. You're going to be, you know, feeding your tongue. You know, there's loads of delicacies. We go there. Oh, you know, so and so has a big buffet, or so we're filling that.
Yeah,
you know, I don't know what to really say about smell. Maybe someone's got a nice perfume or whatever.
This is terrible.
Listening, we're going to be listening to the music. And then, you know, okay, that's enough senses for now. But
So
Maharaj is saying we need to go to the we need to go to the other you know, to the other sense.
To the reality.
But we don't want to. But we're not after that, are we? We're all after what the world is telling us.
But we don't know. You see, the priority becomes the party. Even I can recall at a local Gurdwara wedding function, the secretary said to the girl who was going to get married, "Please, daughter, put your churni on your head. You're in front of the Guru Granth Sahib." But she had like one of those princesses. Don't know what you call them now. Tiaras, yeah, over. And her chunni was just on a jura at the back. And she said to the secretary, who was a buzurg, but he was a secretary of the Gurdwara, and he was just giving a mat that tusi Guru samne hai, hun thore sir tak lo, atte ta tak lo.
I agree with that. Yeah, her head should have been tucked, Hana. But we have to face the fact that the Gurdwara need to be given the instructions in the first place. Yeah. It's easy for us to point fingers at the Sangat. Yeah. But if, you know, there's loads of people from Gurdwara committees that are watching probably now. I know there's probably a lot of pradhans, pracharaks, whatever, yeah?
Well,
but
this is
we need to look at ourselves. It's easy for us to say to people, this is wrong and we need to be doing this. But the truth is, we're not given the prachar in the Gurdwara. So we can't turn around and say to parents or to children, because the parents didn't get it in the first place. Now, 100%.
Because we need to look at long-term education. So maybe, you know, just we're throwing ideas now. This is like, you know, we always sit down and talk about these things, but we always think that how is it ever going to be possible? You know, just simple things like when people come to book their weddings at Gurdwara, just for them to simply say, Bhai Sahab, can you book in an appointment before we, you know, confirm your booking for the Anand Garaj? You have to come and have a quick 10-minute you know, nice and relaxed, 10-minute talk with us. Just going to give you a bit of education on the actual Nand Garaj, what it's about. You know, just simple things like this.
I think even booking the Akhand parts as well, that look, you've got 3 days. In these 3 days, you want to aim to listen to the part. If you want to do the seva, that's good, but you want to listen to the part, and Singhs will be around. If you don't understand some of the meanings of the Guru Granth Sahib or what they're saying, now is a time. And what do you want to change in yourself? There's 4 major things that you can change. You can cut down your drinking. You can stop. You can think about stop eating meat. Start thinking about keeping your hair. You can start thinking about doing more sangat. So there can be aims. I totally agree with you there. The point I was going to make about that Bibi who had her tiara was she turned around to the secretary and said, I've spent £300 on doing my hair. I am not going to just, for the sake of sitting here for my wedding, I want to look nice, I want to look good. Again, you're 100% right, it's all about education. But at the same time, you can see what's taking over the party image, the photographers, the cameramen, you know, when they follow you around in the Nankaj, that's taking over, the Maya is taking over. And like you say, the rules need to be adhered to. And unfortunately, even in the Gurdwara, the Maya takes over and it dictates what can and can't be done. and actually we become slaves to the Maya.
So I was laughing because I just remembered my wedding, like the cameramen. I just remember wanting to throw them out, like, you know, the Gurdwara, and just wishing they were never there, you know. But coming obviously to more serious point is that, you know, when we think about these now, when we're sitting at the Anand Karaj, if we actually think about what is happening now, because Paragat Guran ki de. So we're saying that Guru Granth Sahib Ji's Paragat is actually Hazar, Nazar, actually there. Guran ki de is body. So apa kehne Sarir karke Maharaj Ji othe Hazar Nazar ya. So now if you go back to when Maharaj Ji was in their Sarir, going back from Guru Nanak Padshah's time to Guru Gobind Singh Ji's time, so although jada Guru nu koi manda siga, whoever believed in the Guru, so if somebody was going to get married, to o fe Guru Ji kol jaan gaye. Why did they go to the Guru? Because they wanted to be blessed. Absolutely. And how did Guruji bless them? With Upadesh. So first thing Guruji did was, here's the blessing through a teaching. Fake kende sige charan toye rehras kar. Charna amrit sikham palaya. Bhai Gurdas Ji has backed this up in their vara. So they said, jadon kisne anand karj udo vi karna siga, udo vi amrit shakde sige charan pau leke. And just like we get Sikhya from the Panchpari today, although we Charan Paul leke, they would get Sikhya, they would get a teaching. And if we look at the Lava, Maharaj says, Bani, Brahma, Ved, Dharam, there are Pap, Tajaya, Balaram Ji. Pap, Tajaya means what are the 4 main paps for us that you just spoke about? This Lama de vich aunda sara. Pap, Tajaya, Balaram Ji, 4 cardinal sins you are to renounce. Absolutely. This is a Sikhya being given. And then as Amritaris, we're supposed to, okay, if we look at this now, what Guru Gobind Singh Ji said to us, they said for us, as an Amritari, if we're wearing the kirpan and the belt, so we're saying, as Amritari, Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, for an Amritari, for a Sikh, Sikhi is like a khet, like a field of crops. And the protector of that field is the Gursik that has taken Amrit. Absolutely. So if we imagine now that we've got a job to do, which is protect Sikhi, by going into that place, 2 hours before, we've said to renounce these 4 cardinal sins, and then where they're going to be at their most peak, and jado joran te honiyan hai sariyan cheezaं, because most of the time the groom would have shaved his beard that would have kept by faults for, he would have had it for about 2 months. Oh jandi lagani, dastar sir to la deni, eh jehdi paadshaahiyan bakshiyan apnu Maharaj ne, so the crown's gone.
But there was no understanding of that in the first
But what I'm saying is, that's fair enough that they're doing it, but then as the Amritari, we're supposed to be protecting that khet. But what we're actually doing is, by being there, we're saying this is all okay what you're doing. So we agree with this, that there's nothing wrong with it. So actually the protectors of the khet, of the crop, were aap ujad deya. They're ruining it themselves.
This is very unfortunate because, like you say, first is the case goes, then you're exposed to the meat and the sharab, which are the other 2 kareta, then the drugs and the intoxicating the drugs, and exposed to the meat. Then the 4th one is looking at your brothers and sisters, not as brothers and sisters, because there's opportunity, and we're going to go in a little bit of detail about what actually happens at the wedding reception. But just before we do, I just want to mention something that you mentioned about the Guru Granth Sahib being this radiant light. This radiant light we all have inside us, but it's not grown. For me to say mine's grown, it's a total lie. I'm here, I've got my time, from the time I was born to the time I die, to develop that, to progress. That's the time I've been given. And by going to the place, by basically just not following Guru's instruction, it's not developing, it's not going to help me at all. And there are things which are obvious, like this, like the wedding reception. Now, at this wedding reception, what other things, as Amritaris, are we encouraging are okay? Because obviously, we see people coming to us and say, oh, Sardarji, tusi aage. They don't even know what our name is. But we might think that, chalo, asi muta dikhata utte. We've fulfilled their wish for us to be there. We're there. But most of them won't even recognize us. And there are other things that we're doing to allow others to harm their body. And that's what I want to come into next, because this is what Himmat is talking about. She's saying, I go to the wedding reception. I see all the things that you will normally see in a nightclub. But the parents are saying, no, it's different there. It's not the same. what we see is, because I think you mentioned it last week, that there are people violating the body. As Amritaris, we know you should be protecting your body. You shouldn't be harming it. But then there's drugs that happens. Can I just remind the viewers that very soon the lines will be open and you have a chance to call in with your solution to Himmat's problem. You might know of problems that are happening in the Sikh world in general. And we want you to share those with us on the program so we can come to a better solution for others and parents. So you went into a bit of detail of what happens at these weddings. If you can maybe share, because last week we had quite a long run of calls.
Yeah, so just to let the viewers know, it's not Suniya Sunaiyan Gallan, it is first-hand witnessed with my own eyes.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and being a part of some of the things myself. So I've experienced, alongside my friends, I know my friends walking off, whilst they're sitting next to me, walking off and going into toilets to snort cocaine. This is in a family-orientated wedding.
So I think we've got some slides there of some people snorting cocaine. And this is, what you're saying is...
This is after Anand Karaj, after Gurdwara.
After the, not in the Gurdwara, it's outside after the wedding reception.
Hall,
in a family place.
Yeah, okay. So, you know, because we had callers last week saying, bahut fark hai, they're saying, Jameen Asman da fark hai.
That the party...
You can never, ever, you know, compare the two. That parties are wedding parties are completely different, clubbing completely different.
So according, that's just living in ignorance.
Yeah. So according to Himmat, was she saying the same thing to her parents?
Yeah.
That, look, Mom, Dad, I'm only going, I'm safe, I don't mess around with boys, and I don't have a drink, and I don't do what other people do at the wedding. I'm not going to do this, I won't do the same. I'm not going to do anything different at the nightclub when I go with my friends. So she's saying, I'm going to do whatever I do there at the wedding, I'm going to do there in the nightclub.
Because very important, what we've got to remember and keep in mind, going to the party of a wedding is a social choice. It's not a must. We're not there out to because of our girt due to work. We're not there because we're walking from home to the bus stop and we're exposed to this. So because we're there out of choice.
We've gone there intentionally.
So because we hear so many people saying, "Nahi jana pendaya," but no, once you've attended the actual wedding, which is the Nawa, which is witnessed by Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, then as the Sangat and the Guru Roop Sangat, you've been.
Yeah.
That's the part. Nobody can even say to Vyate nahi aaya. You've been to the wedding.
Okay. So what we're saying is, we're talking about girls. Okay, boys.
Sorry, can I just, before we go off the subject of, like, you know, coke, you know, when we were saying earlier that we've made the Guru into a joke, and this is what I meant, what I was trying to get towards is the Guru is saying to us that this meat, this alcohol, these fags, this cutting our hair, this is such a taboo. Just like society has made cocaine, heroin, all these things such a big deal. Our Guru is saying the same thing, but we don't realise that. We go with what the world is telling us, and we agree with the world. We know coke is wrong, we know heroin is wrong. Slowly, when that becomes normality, then that's going to be acceptable as well.
But
now, are we going to be willing to accept that?
You see, I think the difference has come when we used to sit in front of the Guru Maharaj after Charan Pohol, after we had the Amrit, then we knew we could, because to become Amrit, to have Anand Karaj, you had to be a sevak of the Guru. You had to have Amrit before you could get married in Sikhi. So before the Lama, you had to. So although that happens today, but also non-Amritaris are also getting married in front of Guru Granth Sahib, which gives it a mix. So a lot of the Amritaris are following the bandwagon of the non-Amritaris and saying, well, they're doing it, we can do it as well. Whereas before, it was very distinct.
But who do you think is in control of that then? Who needs to stop that from happening?
No, this is policies which have been passed because, you see, we're in Kaljuk, we're in a time where things are all going downhill. Khalsa is Jardi Kala. Khalsa is always holding the flag high. And because we've joined on the bandwagon, and we've become watered down. We haven't remained on the Guru's principles. So those who have are not noticed. So let's bring it back down to the current situation, where in the parties now, we've got the girls. Unheard of. They're unheard of, and they're taking drugs. We've got a call ready, and we will be going on to this again, that the girls are also getting high on the drugs, as you exposed last week. Hanji, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa,
Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Hanji Veer Ji, ਤੁਸੀਂ
I just wanted to, I just wanted to say that I've just been listening to your debate with regards to when you go to weddings and you see people with haircuts and there's alcohol and consumed. I appreciate that and what you're saying. But at the same time, you need to also understand there's many different paths to get to the Almighty.
Okay.
Who we regard as Waheguru. Now, one of the things I believe is the majority of these people that actually go to the Gurdwara to go and attend to attend a wedding, a lot of them don't actually understand what is being said. And I think a lot of people out there still, when they go to a Mathatik as we do, they don't actually understand the concept of what they're actually doing in the Gurdwara.
Yeah.
You need to remember, the Gurus were our teachers.
Yeah.
The Guru Granth Sahib is the teacher.
Hanji.
If you can't understand the teachings, then it's really pointless you being there.
100%. Okay, Viji.
Now, moving on from that, what you're saying is that if there's people that got their haircut, that pretty much makes them, in a way, they're not following the Sikh religion in the proper way it should be followed.
Okay.
Which to some degree, I agree with you, it's almost like somebody said to me once, you're either in or you're out.
Okay.
There's no halfway house. But at the same time, a person that has a haircut or perhaps maybe lives a particular way doesn't necessarily make that person a bad person.
Absolutely right.
They may consume alcohol. They may intoxicate themselves with drugs.
Yeah.
But for some people, these are release valves.
Okay.
If they go ahead then to go and perhaps do something that harms another person, then that perhaps is maybe where I would agree with you and say it's wrong.
Okay.
However, if they do this because obviously they've got problems within their own life, and this is their release valve, then that's not really, I would say, that's an issue that I think society needs to deal with. What you're saying here is what's happening is drugs have been glamorized for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And what's happening is youngsters, if you see, they simply just do not have the comprehension in terms of what the Sikh Guru Granth Sahib is trying to teach them, because they'll go to the Gurdwara, they'll listen, they'll go through one ear and they'll come out through the other, without any kind of understanding of what is being said. Now, life evolves. Back in the day, when I'm sure the Guru Granth Sahib, there was written and the teachings were put down. Everybody, presumably, their interpretation or their understanding was very, very pure. Now, we can all agree that Punjabi has evolved, where there has been a combination of slang. There is some pure Punjabi there.
Okay.
Do you not believe that there should be a bit more? Our religion needs to evolve a little bit as well, in order for us to perhaps maybe educate the young.
Okay,
Virji, to make it easier for them to understand.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some more calls coming in, and you've made some very, very valid points. Our aim was not to point fingers at people with cut hair, or actually what we're saying is, are we encouraging them, or how are we helping? So I totally agree. We do need to evolve, but we need to evolve through the Guru's eyes, where we can say Guruji wants us to help ourselves first by realizing that if we realize it's wrong, then we can promote it to others. They can look at us and say, your life is so great. Yes, a lot of people have got problems and they will have these release valves, but we can't.
Sorry to interrupt you, you're quite right.
Okay. And
sorry to interrupt you there for one moment.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're quite right. I know you're not pointing the finger, but what I mean to say also at the same time is we need to educate ourselves and make ourselves better people.
Absolutely.
Now, unfortunately for us, we live in a society where people almost follow others.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if the I am very, very much pro-Sikh, and I love my religion. The reason behind that is because the purity and also the fact that it's not oppressive.
Okay. Okay, Vijay, we've got another call coming in, and I think we've taken your points on board, and we will be discussing them in more detail. We'd like to thank you for the call. If there's anything else, there should be someone on the line, if you can, and they'll take your points down. And we'll have to say the Fateh now. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Hanji, we've got a next call coming in. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Hanji Benji.
I just caught the sort of last few bits of your conversation there. My comments would be that I just think that the world itself is just totally confused at the moment.
Okay.
I've got 3 young children, aged between 11 and 7.
Yeah.
I get a lot of criticism for not sort of exposing them to halls, parties and things like that.
Okay.
And I always often get asked the question that, well, what would you do if they tomorrow said they wanted that for themselves? I said, well, when that day comes, I'll have to deal with it, but at the moment it's my duty not to expose them to that kind of environment. But having said that, a lot of the times I avoid taking them to the Gurdwara to weddings as well nowadays, because I find that, again, it's a lot of maya involved there as well. I mean, if you just take a look around when you're there, the way people are dressed and everything else, what goes on, it's, you know, for the eye, you still lose focus on what you're actually there for.
Absolutely. Is there any other points? I've got another call coming in, but that point you've made is 100% valid. And I can see your resentment for sending your children, because you're 100% right. There's so much that you see at a wedding. They're coming dressed up already for the party.
That's right. Another point, like I say, I mean, even sometimes you get invited and it may be a Vishnu party. Even then, again, I would say no, because, again, it's still, you know, there might not be no alcohol there, there may not be no drugs or anything like that, there, no meat. But, again, you open your eyes, you have a look, and it's just such...
The atmosphere is still...
It's just full of maya, everywhere you look.
Okay. I think you've made some very good points, Benji. Thank you very much. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. Now, I just want to... Oh, I think we've got another call. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Hanji, you're on live. Hello. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. We can hear you in the studio, if you'd like to carry on. Sa Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Hanji Benji.
I just want to Benji that was on the line earlier on. I totally agree with what she's saying.
Okay.
At the moment, I've got 2 children.
Yeah.
One's 2.5, one's 5. Even at this age, it's amazing how much influence, how a child at the age of 5 is how deeply they're influenced by society as a whole. And now I'm trying to practice coming to Sikhi as much as I can, and I definitely will not be taking my child to any wedding party, even if it was my own sister's wedding.
Okay, good. Okay.
Because even recently went in the summer my cousin's wedding, and I think I could put my hands on my heart and say I was ashamed that I just took my children to be a part of that, the whole wedding, and I wish I had just taken them to the Gurdwara, the actual wedding. That's all I want to add, is that I don't agree with these so-called wedding parties. They shouldn't even be labelled as Sikh wedding parties.
Okay. Benji, that's very, very brave of you. What you're doing, I know that it's very, very hard for close family, especially, not to be there. And some, but like you, because you recognise that the dangers of going there and exposing your children, and they can turn around and say, oh, that's okay, so this must be okay, I'll go with my friends. So what if we've got a next call ready, so we're going to have to say the fateh to you, Benji, but thank you for that call. It was very, very valuable. This is the last call we're going to take. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji. We can't hear you in the studios here, I'm sorry. Okay, the call's been dropped. Okay. Now, Bibi, the last Bibi that was on, she explained that she doesn't want to expose her children to this because she understands that, look, we have got a purpose in life. What reminded me there was, Jab lag khalsa rahe niara, tab lag tej diyo mein sara. To me, the world is saying, tu kyon nahi aayi? But she's with Guru Gobind Singh. We have got this last call coming in. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Hanji.
Hello?
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Benji.
Hello. Hanji, मेरी गल से that I agree with you about having people having wedding receptions after the wedding, after the Anand Garaj. But my point is that I disagree that when people have a pre-wedding party the night before the wedding, that people have alcohol and they have parties and they drink till about 3 or 4 in the morning. And my point is that I totally disagree in the fact that morning that they're going to do their Nand Garaj in front of the Sri Guru Granth Sahib, and they've still got their bodies and
under the influence of alcohol.
Are in the influence of alcohol, which I think is wrong. And I think that if you're going to celebrate.
Yeah, can I just, because that's a very good point you've made, but at the same time, the wedding before the Anand Garaj, is that a Sikh thing or a Punjabi thing? What would you say?
I would say
it's obviously it's nothing to do with the religion. It's nothing to. Is there a part happening before, or is there a party going on?
I would say it's a party going on because.
So it's a dance and a drink and alcohol.
Exactly.
So now
want to celebrate their wedding, their wedding day by having a party the day before.
So the point I'm trying to make, Benji, is after the Anand Garaj, you're still having the same thing. So in reality, they're both Punjabi culture. They're not Sikhi. Unfortunately, we make it into a Sikh thing because we put it on the card and everything. I think, thank you very much for your call. We've got just a couple more minutes to discuss this. I was going to just mention that there was an international day against drugs in India. And in India, what they found was young women are on a high. What is the reason? Drugs. Every year, 26th of June marks a day against drugs. What they found was they according to a recent survey, cocaine, heroin, and ecstasy are used as an age as early as 10. We've got one more call that's coming in, and I think we've been asked to take this. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Vaheguru.
Hello.
Hanji, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Benji,
Hanji, now.
Just a few points. Respect to all the panel there.
Much
respect to all of you boys and girls there.
Thank you very much.
And brothers and sisters, sorry. Everyone's on a different level of Sikhism, and you would say that.
Yeah.
You agree with me?
Absolutely.
And some are just got the belief in the Guru, and they don't really follow any disciplines as Singhs and Singhis do.
Yeah.
Right. Point being, the argument is like if you was Amritali, which I'm not, by the way, but if you was, would you not send your kids to like a wedding party, right?
Yeah, and would you yourself go there, and then tomorrow, if your child says that, can we go to a party after a wedding? Would that be okay?
Okay, so if you break it all down, then. Okay, so you want to say what's wrong with going there? You're obviously going to say you're exposed to the elements of intoxication, and then all the negativity around that can happen as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's why probably the Guru banned it from us in the first place, so we don't get on that level of stupidity in the world. The music and dance, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that, but because everyone has to have a passion in life, a joy of some sort. But
What about the lyrics
I
and the
think the
music?
main wrong is that you're pointing out is to keep the exposure away from the lifestyle of alcohol and drugs, etc.
Yeah,
What about the lyrics and the music? Sorry, what do you think about the lyrics and the music?
Yeah,
yeah, okay, the lyrics and the music as well. I mean,
If the lyrics are, if they, you know.
Okay, let's speak about it. But the lyrics and the music, you're going to hear that everywhere and anywhere, here or in India.
What Benji's saying is, obviously, we might say it's okay to have a dance and a drink, or have a dance. It seems harmful, but what are we dancing to? We're dancing to have a drink. We're dancing to look at the hips move. We're dancing to a lot of sexist remarks, casteist remarks. So when we look at that, what point I'm trying to say is that it actually goes against.
When I go to a party, I don't really dance to the music that much. But I do just sit down and observe some other people. If you do dance, it should be for the elevation of your soul with someone else, say, you know, like your brother or your sister, or even your partner, whatever. The point being that if you were talking about elements of drugs and intoxication, we live in a country where that is all prevalent, and the society, we've grown up in it. In parts where I live, in parts of England, where there was not many of our people at all, we've had to mingle with our people only. And
just a question.
I'm a turban-wearing Sikh, but whether they be not turban-wearing Sikh or turban-wearing Sikhs, we still have to mingle with them. The point is, I think the Guru tried to explain this. He goes, in the world of impurity, you've got to keep a pure stance of your own. And whether you go to a party or not, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't affect you as your stance. You should be where you are in your state of mind. You should have to talk to anyone about it as well. So
Virji,
some of the benefits.
Okay, thank you very much. Virji, thank you for your points. I think I can see where you're coming from, that that you want to stay nirlep, that even if you're in a place, obviously we go to university and we end up going through places, but I think a question here is if we opt to go there or if we're there out of no choice. I think that's the question we need to ask ourselves.
You know, when you're in the Darbar Sahib, for example, would it seem right for the Sangha to stand up? Okay, maybe there's a few dodgy videos on YouTube, but don't take them seriously. But would it be okay for the Sangha to stand up and start dancing in the Darbar Sahib? It wouldn't seem right, would it?
So basically...
But, you know, you take marriage out of the Darbar Sahib, you know, so, you know, that whole marriage isn't there. So say you took marriage outside the Darbar Sahib in the Godara, you'd leave the Sangha just there, maybe bring a bit of food in there. Would it be okay for everyone to stand and dance? I mean, just to put into perspective as well. And, you know, if you saw us, like, now we're sitting here on these sofas, if we suddenly got started getting up, you know, having a dance around here, would it seem normal? Would it seem right? It wouldn't.
Absolutely. I think just because we've only got a couple of minutes left, and I wanted to bring this to attention because Baljit Singh last week brought this subject up about how our parents are giving in to us and that's taking us to the parties. This is on her 13th birthday. Seema, an NRI, was holidaying in India and with her parents and her brothers and sisters. After cutting a cake at midnight, she had a round of champagne and asked for her first cigarette. Born into an affluent family, living abroad, smoking and drinking were not taboo. Little did she know that she would be doing drugs for the next 23 years. Albert points out, in fact, girls start off in school with whiteness, and not many know they are hooked. Youngsters start off with hashish. Thereafter, some progress to heroin or cocaine. They also start tripping on party drugs like ecstasy. Now marijuana tops the list. Now, dealing with women struggling with substance abuse is way different from men. Women have multiple issues to deal with. They get pregnant, they get into the habit, they end up having abortions, they end up selling their own bodies. Now, this is what it can result into. If we don't notice this at an age, if we open these parties, obviously we know but what's the difference between them now and the parties after the wedding? Because there we can pick the habits. You can see that boy, I remember him, they used to do drugs in the party after the wedding. Now the girls are doing it. But what will their life be like in 20 years' time? We can say it's a release thing, but if we don't notice it now, it'll be too late. And we have got all the resources. We've got the Guru, we've got the Shabad, we've got our PR, but we're taking them to those places where there's an opportunity. Just a few last words, because I think time has actually run out.
Okay, so I think what we'll do is next week maybe we can have the show on drugs.
Okay.
Because just a quick point on it, because I still had a lot of things to mention about the parties. With the drug scenario, the chap mentioned, one of the first callers said it's a sense of release for some people. Okay, when I remember when smoking cannabis, being younger, when I was about 14, 15, and eventually it became skunk, so which is something chemically grown with probe lights and stuff. So I was thinking it's something innocent from, you know, being a release from whatever family situations are going on, and you're just having, you know, it'll give you the giggles and stuff, and then becoming something that's chemically grown, which led to, never mind a release, it led to hallucinating.
Okay.
So it leads to something where you're actually going crazy.
With your spiritual.
You know, I remember walking back from school through an alleyway and feeling as if the alleyway is never ending, and thinking people are walking past. You know, so a release, it's actually sending you loopy. You know, it's the absolute opposite of release.
It's a fake release.
Yeah, it's complete.
Okay, Baljeet Singh, Sharanjit Kaur, we've run out of time, and what I want to say to the viewers is, look, this program is yours. We want you to participate. We're here just trying to find out ourselves that what's going on in the world today. What are we letting our kids in for? What are we letting ourselves in for? And we might not realise.
Just to say, I did do a quick survey this week, which we'll speak about next week, about what Amritdaris think about parties. So we'll share that with you next week. I did a quick survey on what they felt.
So next week we'll be coming back. Sink or swim. We all want to swim, but we don't know how. Guru tells us the way forward. And we are so lucky. We have Guru Nanak, we have Guru Gobind Singh Ji, we have the Pratak Jot Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji live everywhere, because Sada Ang Sange Apangam Vibhuta, he's everywhere. And that Jot can be actually seen physically when we go to the Gurudwara. We're going to leave you with these thoughts. Next week we'll be back looking at what are we letting ourselves in for. Is it okay to accept the fact that drugs are in this world, and how do we deal with them now? Now they are here, our children might be asking for them tomorrow. They might be doing it behind their backs. We'll have another case scenario which looks at this. We've made many mistakes in our vichar without hurting anyone's feelings. Please forgive us. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.